Hello guys, and welcome to my lecture once again. After interrogating the cases that have been stated in this particular RE HOLLAND, let us then go to what does the House of Lords hold. The House of Lords, by a majority of 3-2, dismissed the appeal. Lord Hope, Lord Collins and Lord Saville gave the majority judgment, while Lord Walker and Lord Clerk gave dissenting judgments. Now, what is the reason for the judgment? Lord Hope considered that the question of whether Mr. Holland was acting as a de facto director of the composite company must be approached on the basis that paycheck directors, that is the sole corporate director of each of the composite company, and Mr. Holland were in law separate persons. That's the case of Solomon versus Solomon. Each of them with their own legal separate personality. The mere fact of acting as a director of a corporate director will not be enough for a person to become a de facto director of the subject company. One must look at what a person actually did to see whether he assumed the responsibility of the office of director. Everything Mr. Holland did was under the umbrella of being the director of a sole corporate director until the parliament provides otherwise. If acts are entirely within the ambit of the duties and responsibilities of a director of a corporate director, it is to that capacity that the acts are attributed. Simple. Can you see that? If the acts are within the ambit of the duties and responsibilities of a director of a corporate director, it is to that capacity that the act are attributed. You see, I told you when we're reading the fact, I told you that it was something I wanted you to take note of. Not only was there minute of every meeting, Holland always made sure that he never acted outside the minute of the meeting. Also, Holland always made sure that while he was signing, he never signed his name. He always signed for and on behalf of paycheck directors. If you look at those things, you would know that Holland never assumed to be a director of those composite company. He always acted in capacity as director of paycheck on the board of those 42 composite company. And that's what Lord Hope said here. Nothing is before this court to show that he assumed responsibility until you can show me that he has gone out of the body of paycheck directors. Every act can be attributed to paycheck directors. Lord Collins agreed with Lord Hope, and Lord Collins held that whether a person is a de facto director is not simply a question of fact. The question was whether all his acts can be attributable in law solely to the activities of the corporate director. It does not follow from the fact that Mr. Holland took all the relevant decisions. He was a de facto director of the composite company. No. If that were so, the guiding mind of every sole corporate director would find themselves the de facto director of another company. Look at that. He said, if that were so, meaning that if you are saying that everybody who is a director of a corporate director is going to therefore be a de facto director because he took all major decisions, that means that every other director of corporate director will then become de facto directors, because most likely they are the ones that will be taking the decisions. Do you understand? So that is not a law. He said the basis of liability for a de facto director is an assumption of responsibility and being part of the governing structure. This is something that you need to understand. There must be assumption of responsibility. It was stated by Lord Hope. Now it's stated by Lord Collins. And also Lord Saville agreed with Lord Hope and Lord Collins. Now let us look at what Lord Walker said while dissenting. Lord Walker considered that if a person takes all the important decisions affecting a company and sees that they are carried out, then he's acting as a director of that company. His lordship considered that to attribute act on the basis of capacity in a corporate structure was the most arid formalism. I seem to disagree with Lord Walker. Lord Clerk agreed with Lord Walker and held that the capacity should be irrelevant to the question of whether an individual is a de facto director. Lord Clerk thought it artificial and wrong to hold that Mr. Holland was no more than merely discharging his duties as a de jure director of paycheck directors. I understand the perspective that they were coming from. They are saying that you should make the director of a corporate director a de facto director when he begins to make decisions that are so important. But I am saying that making so important decisions should not be the basis for making him a de facto director. Assuming responsibility of a director outside the shell, outside the body of the corporate director should be the formula that should be used. But Lord Walker and Lord Clerk are saying no, that should not be. It should be the fact that he's making very important decisions, to which the majority of the House of Lords disagreed, and I as well disagree with their positions. So with that, we round up our lecture on RE HOLLAND. In my next case, I'll be talking about Bozu Operations Property Limited in liquidation versus Apple Computer Australia Property Limited. It's a very beautiful case that gave us more insight on who a shadow director is. You know, Billet J just told us, okay, when you're looking at the shadow director, he locks in the corners, he locks behind the real directors and all that. But in Bozu Operation, they gave us more detailed formula to use when we are looking for who a shadow director in the company is. So I'll see you in my next class.